This video has been sponsored by Whatnot, more on them at the end of the video. Can Pokemon live forever? Certainly Arceus can, but can your regular, everyday Pokemon live beyond a natural lifespan? I believe so. Recently, we've seen the reveal of Terapagos, a Pokemon that reminds me just a little bit too much of Wartortle, a Pokemon that is said to live for 10,000 years. Possibly the idea of a blue tortoise with extra fluffy bits around it is being mistaken for this ancient Pokemon that may be an entire region. See my video on that. But I'm not talking about a legendary Pokemon or a deity, no, I'm just talking about a regular Pokemon that you can find in the Paldea region. I'm talking about Rellor. Number 953, Rellor is the rolling Pokemon, and of course it is a dung beetle or scarab beetle. Of course, your regular trainers of Paldea can find it in the Asado Desert, and it seems to be just a brand new bug Pokemon with nothing too interesting going on. According to the Pokedex, it creates its own mud ball by mixing sand and dirt with psychic energy. It treasures this mud ball more than its own life. That right there is really interesting to me. Why treasure a ball of mud more than its own life? Well, the answer might lie in its evolution, Rabsca. After walking with this Pokemon with the Let's Go feature 1,000 steps, it's built up enough dirt to evolve. Yes, that's dirt, not dung, although I suppose the Pokemon do their business out in the wild, I guess? Maybe it is still a dung beetle. Anyway, after evolution, the Pokedex has some interesting things to say. The body that supports this ball barely moves, therefore it is thought that the true body of this Pokemon is actually inside the ball. Now that's the Scarlet entry, but the Violet entry is a little different. An infant sleeps inside the ball. Rabsca rolls the ball soothingly with its legs to ensure the infant sleeps comfortably. So it's inside the ball, but also it's an infant in there? What gives? I think to find the answer, we need to look at what's changed since evolution. By mixing sand and dirt with psychic energy, it seems to have gained the psychic typing. And additionally, the Pokedex has gone from referring to the ball as a thing it needs to protect to potentially it being the body of the Pokemon. While you can't see much in the Ken Sugimori art, if you look at the 3D model, you can see what seems to be the pupa stage of this Pokemon, some baby version, perhaps an infant version of this Pokemon, inside the orb. Now, if you're like me and you're looking at this model and you're going, I can't see any baby pupa larva stage of this Pokemon, it's one of Pokemon's best kept secrets, because it is right there in plain sight. You just have to move the camera to a specific angle, and suddenly the light pierces through the hollow ball and you can see what appears to be the baby or pupa of this Pokemon. In fact, on the Pokedex page, the image showing Rabsca shows its eyes lit up, and inside the ball, the pupa stage lit up as if it's undergoing evolution or a hatching like a Pokemon egg. But the key thing is that this Pokemon actually gains a signature move. It's one of two Pokemon that knows this move, the other being Pawmor, and that is Revival Blessing, a move that can revive another Pokemon. Now you might think what's happening here is that this is mimicking real scarab beetles that lay their own eggs inside the dung of the ball that they roll, but these Pokemon breed like any other Pokemon and reproduce through Pokemon eggs. So this isn't reproduction that's happening here. This is this Pokemon's life cycle. This Pokemon starts as a pupa stage inside one of the orbs of a Rabsca. As it evolves, it starts rolling a ball of dirt and psychic energy, building up over 1,000 steps across the desert. Then it uses that psychic energy to transfer its consciousness into the orb. It evolves into Rabsca, but the beetle that is at the helm is no beetle, it's barely a body anymore. Soon that body will die when it uses Revival Blessing and bring back the pupa into a Rellor, and it continues forever. This type of immortality isn't even like fantasy. In the real world, there are Hydra and jellyfish that are known as the immortal jellyfish because they live, well, forever unless eaten. And they do so by reverting their cells back to an earlier stage of their life cycle. That is what is happening here. There's a little bit more, and a second theory here that ties into this Pokemon. And by the way, these I came up with Lumia's post when we were coming up with just 5 mini theories for Paldea. I recommend you check out that video, I think it's brilliant. But Rellor as well, in its shiny form, seems to be rolling not a ball of sand and psychic energy, but instead a nugget. Yes, this golden ball. I actually happened to catch a shiny Rellor just out in the wild, and when I first saw it, I thought, well, that's cool. If it's holding a nugget, they make it look like that. But then it turns out that no, this was in fact the shiny version of the Pokemon. But there's no denying what that orb looks like. That is a nugget for sure, a valuable item in the world of Pokemon worth many Pokedollars. This is something we've seen before in Meowth, for example, who can use the move Payday, and the coin on its head generates more smaller coins that people use as cash in the Pokemon world. So is this where all nuggets come from? I think that's totally possible. You might think, but hang on, shiny Pokemon are really rare, and there's a lot of nuggets in the world of Pokemon. But if you look at the comparable size of population from these kinds of Pokemon to real-world beetles, you can learn a lot. When Googling how many insects and beetles there are in the world, which, by the way, side note, I just found it fascinating that when I Googled beetles, it turns out that their scientific name, or rather the order that they come from, is called Coleopatra? Oh, the dyslexia is hitting. I just think it's really weird that they didn't make a Cleopatra joke, given that like it's ancient Egypt and scarabs, and I'm just sure there's like a joke in there somewhere. While your odds of finding a shiny Rellor are 1 in 4,096, there are quintillions, that's multiple quintillions, that's 1 with 18 zeros of individual beetles in the world. The numbers actually vary depending on the source I was looking at. Some said quintillions, some said quadrillions. It's a lot. It was also hard to find a right number because every time I typed in how many beetles are alive in the world, it referred to me to the band, the Beatles. The point is, no matter the case, no matter the number, there is more than enough to provide for plenty of these nuggets as a natural resource in the Pokemon world that is rare and thus makes it valuable. But here's the interesting thing. That means for every nugget in your bag in a game of Pokemon, there's a Rellor out there that just stopped being shiny and instead had to start rolling a new ball of dirt and psychic energy. Perhaps the goal even of the immortal life cycle of this Pokemon is in fact to roll itself eventually into a shiny form. If it goes through its life cycle at least 4,096 times, at least one of those it'll end up being a shiny. This is just a silly little Pokemon theory. I'm working on some hardcore theories actually about The Legend of Zelda right now, so check out my Zelda channel for that. Thank you for all the support on me launching that. It's been amazing to see the support there. Also, if you want to use your Rellor to make some sweet Poké-Dollars, or perhaps you want to get one on the cheap, head on over, of course, to today's sponsor, Whatnot, where you can pick up the new Rellor Pokemon cards from the upcoming set, Paldea Evolved. Whatnot, of course, have been sponsoring this channel for a while. They're a live buying and selling community platform where you can head on over and join the card collecting community and pick up any of the new stuff that you're looking for, either from Paldea Evolves, or maybe you're still looking to complete your set from Scarlet Violet. You're looking to get some of those sweet golden starter Pokemon yourself. I, of course, have an account over there where I stream at least once a month. You'll actually be seeing me stream this month live from MCM Comic-Con London. I'm going to be on the Whatnot booth, and I'm going to be going around the convention and seeing what cool Pokemon cards I can pick up, and then, of course, listing them up on Whatnot. So make sure you head on over, use the link at the top of the description, head on over to my live show, make sure you've got it favorited. That way you won't miss a thing when I go live, and of course if you use my QR code on screen, you get £10 off your first purchase, so you can head on over and pick up some Pokemon cards for effectively free. Also, every time you use that QR code or sign up using my link in the description below, it helps out the channel. So thank you so much to Whatnot for sponsoring this video. Thank you all for just supporting everything I do. I know the world of Pokemon is a little bit quiet right now. I'm looking forward to doing more big theories when we finally learn more about the DLC. And of course, so hi, Pokemon Masters.
Hello there, it's me, Professor Oak. This video is over, so please choose another one wisely and quickly. Bye-bye.
Just the biggest thank you to those of you who are supporting this channel on Patreon, and a special thank you to the big patrons of the month, Jedruben, Charmander Aznable, Anthony Lee, the Elgator, and Michael Hornschuch. Thank you so much.